What's going on, everybody? This is David here, back with a brand new video. And today I wanted to make a video congratulating the 2022 Pro Football Hall of Fame class. That is Richard Seymour, Leroy Butler, Sam Mills, Tony Boselli, Bryant Young, Dick Vermeil, Cliff Branch, and Art McNally. Art McNally's they called him the godfather of the officiating. Cliff Branch, who was one of the best receivers the NFL's ever had, I would say probably the second fastest, only after Randy Moss. I mean, he was one of the first true receivers we saw. He ran the deep routes very well. He caught those deep passes in a time where passing the ball wasn't as prevalent as like it is today's NFL. Because, they didn't have illegal contact until his 7th season in 78. Pass interference wasn't as called as much as it is today. Dick Vermeil, former Rams Super Bowl winning coach, led the Eagles to a Super Bowl, had some pretty successful seasons with Kansas City. Now, he only led Kansas City to one playoffs in 2003, but he had a great team that year. And then you got the modern day finalists like Richard Seymour, 7-time Pro Bowl selection. He had 3 first-team All-Pros, I think. 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots. Leroy Butler, 4-time Pro Bowl selection, 4-time first-team All-Pro, Super Bowl 31 champion with the Packers, was a part of the 90s All-Decade team. I mean, I'm trying to think. Then Sam Mills, don't know much about his career highlights. I know he was a linebacker for the Saints during the Dome Patrol days. And then he played a couple with the Panthers. Tony Basale was a 5-time Pro Bowl selection with the Jaguars. I think he had 4 first-team All-Pros, if I'm not mistaken. And had 5 fumble recoveries in his career. Was a big part of why the Jaguars' offenses were so successful in the 90s and why they had those 2 AFC championships in the 90s. And then Bryant Young, who was a Super Bowl champion with the Niners, a 1-time first-team All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowl selection, part of the 90s All-Decade team. Congratulations to all of them. But the only biggest question I ever had wasn't with any of these guys, but it was with the snubs. You might say I'm a homer, that I'm kind of upset that Demarcus Ware didn't make the Hall of Fame. But you look at Demarcus Ware, 9-time Pro Bowl selection. I think he had 3 first-team All-Pros. He twice led the league in sacks. And twice he got 20 sacks in his career. Super Bowl 50 champion with the Broncos. And you pass up on him in his first year of eligibility. When I thought he was the best first-year eligible guy in this class. You pass him over for Bryant Young. Now, take nothing away from Bryant Young. I respect the guy. He deserves it. But you passed up Demarcus Ware for him, who's had a more successful career. 9-time Pro Bowl selection versus 4. I think he has 3 first-team All-Pros versus 1 first-team All-Pro. Super Bowl champion. They both are. Both were a part of an all-decade team. And 137.5 career sacks versus 89.5. If you ask me, I don't even think Bryant Young was the best Niner eligible for this class. I would have put in Patrick Willis, who was a 7-time Pro Bowl selection. I don't even know how many first-team All-Pros he had. And yeah, he did have that Super Bowl appearance, and he didn't win it unlike Bryant Young. But I could name three defensive players that I think should have got in before Bryant Young. Demarcus Ware, Ronde Barber, and Patrick Willis. Because my prediction for this class was Demarcus Ware, I think Torrey Holt, Ronde Barber. Who else was I thinking? I think would have got in this year. I'm trying to think if who else I thought was going to get in this year. I thought Tony Boselli would get in. And Zach Thomas. Now, that's another guy, too, who I think has a better case than Bryant Young. I'm just shocked that they put in Bryant Young before they did those guys. So that means for the guys that did not make it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame class, what's that going to be like for next year, when next year's class is going to be a lot more competitive with Joe Thomas, Darrelle Revis, Cam Chancellor, James Harrison, Dwight Freeney? Next year's is going to be too competitive. Because I'll tell you, I could tell you that Revis and probably Harrison and Freeney will get in because they got the Super Bowl rings, they got the Pro Bowls, the first team All-Pros. And Joe Thomas, who I think is the most deserving of them all, might get overlooked because he played for the Browns when the Browns were just a sorry franchise. It was also part of the 0-16 Browns. That might hurt him though. So now let me know what you think in the comment section below. This is David. I'm out. Peace.